struggling to find work. We need to get our economy turned around. We need to start creating jobs. You know, I understand that those in the press want to focus on these issues. We're going to focus on our campaign where Texas. These questions don't come from voters. They come only from reporters who want to create a story. I'm going to keep it focused where Texans care, where voters care. When you've got an economy that's not growing, in the last 4 years, our entire economy has grown 1.5%. People are struggling, people are hurting, they're trying to find a job. And the Obama Democrats, with the help of a lot of folks in the media, are trying to do everything they can to distract from the issue that matters to voters today, which is what agenda will get people working. And the way to get people working and to get our economy going is to limit government spending, to turn around our crushing debt, not to jack up taxes, and to limit out-of-control regulations that are strangling small businesses. 2/3 of all new jobs come from small businesses, and right now it is becoming harder and harder for small businesses to survive, much less to thrive. Well, I think it is interesting that President Obama gives speeches about oil and gas exploration in the couple of months before an election. But when his administration is in power, they put impediment after impediment after impediment in the way of oil and gas exploration. This is the administration that shut down the XL pipeline and said, we don't need a pipeline, we're going to deliberately give away tens of thousands of jobs. This is the administration that with the stroke of a pen banned offshore drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. And by the way, I will note, when that happened, I represented the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 29 chambers of commerce, up and down the Gulf Coast, challenging the offshore drilling laws. And the Federal Court of Appeals agreed with me that President Obama has no authority on federal law. His policies have consistently put impediments in the way of the oil and gas exploration, and it is only in this narrow window when he's campaigning for president that his rhetoric differs from his record. I don't think voters are going to be fooled by cheap talk, and particularly when our economy is struggling. We have an extraordinary opportunity with energy exploration. Recent technological advances in horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing have opened up vast new reserves of oil and natural gas, the potential to create millions of new jobs. And it would only be the foolishness of federal policies under President Obama that would limit our ability to develop those natural resources to generate millions of new jobs and to cease being dependent on foreign oil, which is an enormous geopolitical risk. Right now, we send billions of dollars every year to Middle Eastern nations, many of which cheat. Instead, we need to be energy independent. We need to have jobs and economic opportunity. And President Obama and his administration have stood in the way, and in the second term, I think we can expect him to stand even more in the way. On the other hand, a President Romney, I believe, will help lead the fight to develop our natural gas and our oil resources and all of our resources. And as the next U.S. Senator from the state of Texas, I intend to work every day to fight for small businesses and for the opportunities to develop our energy resources.
How does the game
Much more challenging. I've said many times, I think the number one political objective in the country is defeating Barack Obama on November 2nd. I think the number two political objective is retiring Harry Reid. And throughout the course of this campaign, I've spent a great deal of time doing everything I can to further both of those objectives. Because if we're going to be serious about tackling the grave fiscal and economic problems, we're going to get serious about stopping out-of-control spending and pulling back from the fiscal we cannot continue with the current leadership of President Trump and Harry Reid. Under Harry Reid, the Senate hasn't shown up for work. They haven't even had a budget in 3 years. They're not even pretending to provide serious solutions to economic problems. If Barack Obama and Harry Reid remain in power, our ability to turn things around is highly down. Now, I will work every day regardless to try to get it done. But if we're actually going to get it done, we have got to beat Barack Obama as the presidency and bring new leadership.
if that doesn't happen,
I think it is very likely that Harry Reid remains majority leader and Barack Obama remains president, that we will see gridlock and, in fact, expanded gridlock. You know, it's interesting. President Obama has been trying to wrap himself in Bill Clinton. Whether it is a convention featuring Bill Clinton almost more prominently than President Obama himself, or using him as a surrogate or running TV ads, it's ironic because Barack Obama and Bill Clinton's records could not be more different. Both presidents, when they started their presidency, began government part-of-the. Bill Clinton, like Barack Obama, pushed single-payer government health care and Hillary care, and both presidents received a stunning rebuke from the American people. In the next congressional election in 1995, the American people overwhelmingly threw Democrats out of office, elected Republicans to Congress. The difference was, when that happened, Bill Clinton made a conscious decision to move to the Senate, to work with Republicans in Congress, to compromise, to work together, to pass balanced budgets, to reform welfare, to give up on government single-payer health care. And the consequence was enormous economic prosperity. Barack Obama made a very, very different decision. When the same thing happened in 2010 and the American people repudiated his far-left policies, instead of working with Republicans in Congress, President Obama decided to double down on failed economic policies. He proposed even more spending. Every budget he proposed going forward has over $1 trillion deficit. He proposed raising taxes on small businesses across this country. Instead of working with Republicans, President Obama and Harry Reid have made the decision to embrace gridlock and to embrace big government and more spending and more debt as a solution. I think that's very hard.
Towards your goal of curtailing spending, is there going to be some Texans that might find that they might have the project they want that looks worthwhile, that looks half the
If every member of Congress and every member of the Senate views his or her job as going to Washington and feeding at the trough, bringing as much money back to their district and their state, that's how I'll tell you, when I crossed the state of Texas, in the course of this campaign, I spoke to tens of thousands of voters one-on-one in IHOPs and VFW halls and Denny's and listened to their concerns. I haven't heard a single voter say, we need more basic factors. What Texans are concerned about is that we're bankrupt.
But haven't you heard them say they're NASA supporters? Haven't you heard them, or they have a military base or a VA hospital they have or want? Don't you hear from people who do still want more and feel their taxes paid for it?
If there is legitimate and important federal spending. And the examples you gave are great examples of it, whether it is NASA, which is a critical national priority, or whether it is taking care of our veterans, which is a solemn obligation to the men and women who have risked their lives to defend our liberty. Those are constitutional responsibilities that we need to carry through and make sure they're fully funded. And I will fight vigorously to ensure that Texas is treated fairly and that we receive a fair portion. What has happened, though, in the federal government is the federal government has gotten out of its core constitutional areas and is spending trillions of dollars every year.
So there may be a more critical eye on projects, but you've got to find some place to spend less money.
That's exactly right. Well, the Constitution explicitly in Article 1, Section 8 gives the federal government power to raise an army, to raise a navy, and more broadly to provide for the general defense. And with respect to veterans, taking care of our veterans is integrally connected to the responsibility of defending our nation, which is the first and principal responsibility of the federal government. Likewise, NASA and our advances in space are integrally connected to defending our national security, to defending the interests of our nation. And I think one of the unfortunate things this administration has done is gut the NASA budget in, frankly, what I think is Chicago-style partisan punishment of the state of Texas, because the state of Texas didn't vote for the president, We have seen an unfortunate pattern in this administration of attempting to punish its political enemies, and I don't think that's the proper role.
I want to get back to one thing you said earlier. What's better, IHOP or Denny's? Which way do you want to
I'm ecumenical on that.
Brilliant. What does the state of play on your order for it? Still just not saying it? I mean, there's something to say, wouldn't you automatically support the Texans? You're still ducking that one.
I'm not ducking anything. My position for over a year has been, and I think it'd be presumptuous to admit anything. But let me be very clear. I think John Cornyn is a very good man. He and I are already working very, very closely together. He is enthusiastically supporting me in this campaign. We have campaigned across the state of Texas together. And I look forward to working side by side, arm in arm with John Cornyn, to defend the state of Texas and to defend conservative principles.
Has he been a good and effective warrior on defending?
He has been an important leader in the Republican Party, and I look forward to working closely with him.
Yeah, he's a Denny's guy.
All right, thank you very much.